Welcome to today's episode of the Hungry Trilobyte podcast. My name is Aaron Bossig, and I'm going to be your host. If you're getting this episode shortly after it's been released, yes, it's been a few extra weeks since our last episode. The past month has been a little extra hectic, and I had to make a choice between getting out lots of episodes or getting out good episodes, so I opted to hold off until today's episode, and you're going to see why. I get to welcome Rebecca Hanson from MST3K. Let's get right to it. On mic today, we have Rebecca Hanson, star of, among other things, Mystery Science Theater. How are you doing this fine day?
I'm great, Aaron. Thanks for having me. How are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic. Please don't mind my dog behind me. I couldn't get her to move.
Mine is on the floor behind me, so we're in good company.
Okay. Well, maybe they can do a podcast themselves later on.
I think that's why he's here. He wants to be interviewed. So.
Well,
what's your dog's name? May I ask? Really?
Polina.
Quickly? Polina. Hi, Polina.
Hey, Polina. And your dog?
Trond.
Trond. Is
Trond.
there a D on the end of that?
Yes, it's
Okay.
Norwegian. Trond. Yep.
Okay.
Trond.
That is so cute.
I wish I could show you, but he's on the floor and I can't pick up my.
Yeah, sure. That's quite understandable.
He's a black lab. He's great.
Best dog ever.
Thanks.
Except when there's chocolate around.
Except when there's any food around. He just eats everything. But hey, that's his gift, and I don't want to stifle it. Well, I do. I have to. But anyway, we're getting off course.
That's all right. Hey, dogs are one of the most positive things in the world. So.
Oh, totally.
So, I'm a huge fan of MST3K.
Me too.
And not only I did you a disservice by saying that you're a star, but you're also a writer on there too, and the writing on MST3K has always been top notch.
Yeah.
But unlike some of the other cast members, you have a unique quality in that you're a lot closer to me in age than some of the others. So I feel like we kind of grew up with it, unlike everybody else.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, all of us did grow up with it. I think I learned about it more when I was in college, because that's how old I was, because I'm early 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, yeah, a lot of the cast is like mid to upper 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like the original cast members that pop in here or there.
What I was getting at,
yeah. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you meant like this current cast or previous casts. Yeah.
The original cast, being adults when I was a kid, because I'm about to hit my 40s.
Okay.
And I just have to ask, what's it like seeing something, growing to love it, and then saying, hey, would you like to have a turn being on the show?
I have to say, when it was first brought up to me, before the Kickstarter was even a thing, I was helping Joel Hodgson at a Comic-Con or a Wizard World convention.
Mm-hmm.
And he had just been featured in Wired magazine. There was a great article in Wired. This must have been like 2014-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And he said something to the effect of like, well, I'd love to get it started up again. I don't know if I ever will, but if I did, do you think you'd want to maybe write for it? And I instantly started crying on this escalator as I was writing it with him. And I was like, yeah, I think it'd be okay. Like, sure, Joel, I guess if I had to. Like, I couldn't compose myself. It was just the possibility of it made me just absolutely start crying in public. And I don't normally do that. And then the Kickstarter happened, and he called the next day after it had, raised all that money, and was like, hey, we got this money. Do you want to write on MST3K? And I was like, yes, please. Yes. And then he was like, hey, do you think you'd want to be another character, like an on-camera character, like a clone of Pearls? And I was like, yes, Joel, anything you ask me, I'm just going to say yes to. So like, yeah. So it's, to be a part of it still, I still can't believe it actually happened. And it's still like the highlight of my life. Cause yeah, it was such an integral part of me getting into comedy, and yeah, to be on the other side of it is the coolest thing ever.
I recall when Patton Oswalt got that memo from Joel, I think it was over Facebook Messenger or something, he posted a screen cap where it said, would you like to be on the show as well? And he just like had this incomprehensible string of characters.
Yeah.
And I could only comment on that tweet. I said, if somebody had said that to me, that would have literally been my response to it. By the way, I'm available. So,
Right. Okay.
yeah, it's one of those things that there are no words.
There really aren't. There really aren't. Because yeah, like the show in our minds had ended, in what, 97?
Hmm.
So, when you rewatch them all those years, you're like, oh, wasn't this such a great show? Too bad, it ended. And then A, to be brought back, B, to be a part of it. It's
I say without hyperbole, I think it's the greatest TV show in the history of Western civilization.
whoa.
Yes, because it combines so much of, I mean, we have cinema as a whole, anybody who
Yes.
loves movies, and then you have the layer of loving movies for the wrong reasons, and then you have the layer of having theater on top of loving movies
Yeah.
for the wrong reasons. It's such a layered concept that works for my 5-year-old daughter,
Yep.
for my 80-year-old grandmother. It works for everybody.
Yeah, it really, really does. It is, I mean, yeah, it's an all ages, all encompassing show. Sorry, It is Saturday morning and I'm still waking up.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. No, I mean, there's so many different layers of hilarity to it and genius and subtlety, and it's a deceptively simple show.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, like I'll never forget when I got my first writing assignment, which was for Cry. I think no, I did write on Cry Wilderness and I wrote on The Loves of Hercules, but I think The Loves of Hercules was the movie that I first received when we first started writing. And just to, see the opening credits, they give us the movie and the little row of theater seats, are along the front of the movie. And I just remember like I started watching it going, oh, all right, what are Crow and Tom gonna say? And then I realized, oh, whoa, I have to be writing those words. Like that was just such a like monumental moment of, oh boy, the pressure's on. It's you think it's so easy, and boy, you throw a lot of stuff out there to see if any of it sticks. But that's also it's probably the funnest writing I've ever done because for riffing. Because you can throw any sort of thing out there, and it's amazing to see who catches on to what. It's fun to have to explain your jokes. It's fun when people find them funny on one level and you meant it to be funny on another level. It's really, really fun, as awful as these movies are. And as many times as you have to watch them, and as sick as you get of them, and then you always hit a point in the movie where it's like, there's nothing funny. I can't write anymore. I hate this. And then, everyone in the writer's room is like, this is the worst movie. Why did we pick this? We hate this. We can't. And then we make each other laugh again. And then we find the funny stuff of it. So, yeah, it's a great show. And I love that it really is for everyone. If you want it to be, it's for you.
And, I've been watching, the show started when I was 9-ish. I discovered about a year later. So, watching before I even hit my teens. And then I watch them again in my 20s and I watch them again in my 30s. It's like, oh God, I keep picking up on new jokes. Yes. It's possibly the most rewatchable show ever.
Yes. Because you know when those laughs are coming that you've laughed before. And then, yeah, like you said, like when you do watch it as you're older, you're like, oh my gosh. Or there are so many things I learned because of MST3K, because when I first started watching it, we didn't have the internet just right there. For us to like look up references. So like my friends and I sometimes would write things down because we're like, oh my gosh, we don't understand this reference. We've got to like look it up. And you oddly learn stuff by watching it too. Yeah.
The annotated MST3K is one of the greatest ideas ever. Just people who have actually gone through and just line by line said, this is what this riff means. This is what that riff means.
I didn't know that.
Oh, annotated MST3K.
Oh my gosh.
Check it out on Twitter.
Yeah. Holy cow. See, I'm even learning stuff as a fan and as a, I guess, insider, even though I still don't think of myself as an insider, but I guess I am. What is it? Annotated MST3K?
Annotated MST3K.
All right, thanks. Wrote it down. Okay. Yeah. It's been really great.
And among other things, you are in one of my favorite art forms, stand-up comedy as well.
Yeah, well, I don't do a ton of stand-up per se. I do more improv.
Okay.
Which there is a difference, but I think 2020 might be the year where I get some guts and maybe try a little stand-up. Uh,
What was that look for?
what does that look for? Well, for whatever reason, stand-up comedy is a little intimidating to me because I guess I'm just more comfortable not having a script
Hmm.
and I'm more comfortable like just improvising. And I do prefer to perform with people.
Hmm.
Um, and so that's what you kind of do at improv. With stand-up, it's just you and you have to be, well, I don't think you have to be, yeah, you kind of have to be methodical in some of your comedy. And it's just one of those things that it's been oddly intimidating to me, but it shouldn't be because I've been doing comedy for so long, I should just be able to do this. So I think 2020 will be the year Rebecca Hanson like does some open mics and does stuff like that.
Number one, keep me in the loop on that. I want to know.
Okay. Okay.
Number two, that is the most interesting thing, that you actually feel more comfortable going off and being thrown to the wolves
Yep.
than to have a script in front, because that's like the opposite of what 90% of comedians I've ever heard talk
Yeah.
have said. And
Yeah.
can you go into that a little more?
I mean, sure, sure. I'll try to. It's just, yeah. I discovered improv actually as a high school student, and that's what got the ball rolling for me in terms of like being in theater. And then I was reintroduced to improv again in college, and once I did that, that's where a lot of my professors were like, you need to go to Chicago, you need to go to Second City and learn how to do this. I'm fine, and I do like scripted things, but boy, being able to just come up with stuff off the top of my head and just even kind of surprise myself with what I'm saying is just really fun. It's the funnest rush you'll ever get in your life, I feel. So it's always just been a very freeing, very liberating thing for me. And moving to Chicago and working at Second City and Improv Olympic and Comedy Sports, and then I was on a ton of different independent teams and doing musical improv and stuff. It's just so fun when you're with a group of people and we don't know where we're going, but we are definitely getting there together. It's just really exhilarating. So once you kind of get comfortable not knowing what you're going to do and getting comfortable just falling flat on your face in front of people, it's not literally, well, sometimes you actually do physically fall, and then you
Mhm.
just make it funny. And I feel like with improv, people are a little more willing to forgive you if it doesn't go so well. What they don't understand is when it does go really well, that you didn't know it was going to. They're
Mhm.
absolutely convinced that you've scripted it, and that's not the case. Like we just improvise. So yeah, improv for me has always just been more comfortable, and I've been doing that for so long that it just doesn't phase me anymore in regard to like, oh, what if I'm really bad? And because of that, I've gotten to perform with, some of my comedy heroes, and it's just been really fun to do that with them and have that experience. And it only happens that one time, and then it's gone, and that's kind of a bummer. But it's fun to like keep chasing that. Does
Give
that
me a
make
couple.
any sense?
Oh, totally, totally. We
Okay,
missed a
okay,
second or so of it, but I don't think it's. I think the message got through.
okay. It's fun, is what I'm saying. I think it's fun.
When you talk about performing with your comedy heroes, do you have any good stories?
Boy, when I yeah, I mean when I was an understudy at Second City, so I was just understudying one of the touring companies. It was one of my first gigs ever with Second City. The Second City is an improv sketch comedy theater in Chicago. I don't know if everyone knows that, so I'll give everyone that context. Some of its famous alumni include John Belushi, Tina Fey, Stephen Colbert, Steve Carell, like pretty
People you
much
might have
everyone.
heard of once or twice.
Yeah, you might have seen those people somewhere. But as an understudy, one of my first shows with Second City, I actually got to do with Rachel Dratch. Rachel Dratch is a Second City alumni. She's also a Saturday Night Live alumni. I think her most famous character would probably be Debbie Downer. And then she had a Boston character that she did with Jimmy Fallon a lot. And when Rachel Dratch was on stage at Second City, she was in a cast with Tina Fey. And they wrote a scene called Wicked. And it's not about the play Wicked, it's about living in Boston. You know how you always say wicked, wicked smart, wicked. And it's this mother-daughter scene. It's a really funny scene that Rachel and Tina wrote. And I got to do Tina Fey's part with Rachel for this live show that we did. And it was just, it was really fun to do a show with her because I had been watching her on Saturday Night Live for all those years. I'm actually taller than her, and I'm not very tall. So that was cool to be like a taller person on stage.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a personal thing. But yeah, it was
5'5",
really,
so.
okay, yeah, I'm 5'4". And, it was interesting to see. I think Rachel was just as nervous as all of us in the cast were, which was so funny to me because, she's this powerhouse performer. But it was just cool to like see that other side of her and just to have fun with her. So yeah, doing a show with her was really, really fun. And it was one of my first, Second City experiences. So I feel really fortunate with that. Yeah.
So if you could move the art form forward, if you could put together your own improv event, what would you like to do?
Oh boy, that's such a good question. I have to say, like, as much as it's been done on television, there have been some pretty okay TV shows for me, and I think everyone would agree with me. Like, improv is best live when you're in a theater with people, like all feeling that same kind of energy. So I don't know, like sometimes I think, oh, wouldn't it be fun to have a live stage thing and then do I'm gonna blank on it, that Riff Tracks does with the Phantom. What's the word I'm looking for?
Riff Tracks.
When they like they'll show like, how they'll like show the movie. When Riff Tracks had the anniversary show and Joel and Jonah came, like the MST3K, like, and like they were all in Minneapolis together, but then you could go to theaters and watch it.
The simulcast.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like if you could do a simulcasting like that, that would be kind of fun improv wise, but you kind of have to be in the same space for it to really happen. Yeah. So, and I think that's another reason why I love it so much is because it is such a specific and rare thing. You can't quite mass produce it.
Mm-hmm. I would actually say I could see that. You use the Riff Tracks is a great example. They have their simulcasted live events, and for a while when Cinematic Titanic was touring, they had live events, and they would try to put those on DVD.
Yep.
And I like it.
Yeah.
But there's a definite, it doesn't quite translate. It's either a studio production on a recording or it's completely live. You can't do that halfway.
It's really tricky. Yeah. I know a lot of people wanted the MST3K live touring shows, to be available on DVD. And as fun as that would have been, yeah, it's just tricky to capture all of that properly on camera. So that's why stand-up is probably, that's why I think stand-up is more well-known and it's easier to do because it's just one person. While it's better to be in the same room as, say Patton Oswalt when he's doing his live stand-up, it does translate really well on Netflix specials or other things like that. So I think that's why, stand-up is what it is. And improv is kind of this own weird beast in the corner that once you get to know it, it just gets in your system and it's kind of this weird cult that you join, kind of like MST3K. Like it's just this rabid fan base and you just kind of can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, I would get somebody to watch MST3K for the first time, and this was more true in the original days than because it's kind of seeped into culture now.
Yes.
But I would sit somebody down and they would just keep saying over and over, but I can't hear the movie.
Yeah.
Why are they talking? And to break somebody of that, we're just watching a movie mentality.
Yep.
It's because you're teaching them a whole new way of appreciating something almost.
Exactly. And I'm glad you brought that up because that's totally true. You kind of have to new people, you really have to like train them how to watch it. And then once they know how to watch it, they're like, oh my gosh, and I feel like that's how improv is a little bit too. Like once you kind of know what you're seeing, you're able to process it in a fuller capacity than just like watching a play or something. But yeah, you definitely have to train people to how to watch MST3K. And I think that's what was fun about doing all the live shows too, was, we had a mix of people who knew exactly what they were getting into. And then we had a lot of people who had never heard of this show before. So for them to experience it with people who knew what they were watching, and it was all live, and, we were kind of in your faces with it. It's by far the most fun I've ever had on stage, is doing the MST3K live shows, because the fan base is so great. Everyone's there. You get to see the Satellite of Love, and when Jonah and the bots come out, and then the second year we had Joel with us, and people are just losing their minds, and it's just so fun to like be right there with them and be able to experience this horrible movie together. It makes watching The Brain, which was one of the movies we did for the last tour, it made that way more tolerable than it was.
I can imagine, and that there are some of those movies where it's like, okay, it's terrible, but it's still just fun.
Yeah. It's just it's like painful fun. Yeah.
I actually, for years, watched the Mexican Santa Claus movie from season 5.
Oh, yes.
No puppets. I would just pop in that VHS tape of the pure movie and just watch it, because it was weird, but it was fun. And then the show did it, and I was like, okay, now I have to make a choice. Do I do the puppets or not the puppets?
Yeah. And dare I ask, what choice did you make?
Oh, I almost always opt for the puppets, just because.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's. But I also just on a whim decided to whip up a Christmas music video of Journey's "Don't Stop Believing" using footage of that Santa Claus movie, because "Don't Stop Believing, Santa Claus."
That's great.
Fun times. So, are you taking your writing talents anywhere else these days? Should I not have asked that?
Say what?
Should I not have asked that?
No, you totally can. No, I think I was actually thinking this last night. Like, 2019 has been just a really interesting year, because it's my first full calendar year out here in LA. I lived in Chicago for a long time. Moved to LA about 2 years ago. This is the first year I wasn't touring or anything like that. And I probably see myself a little bit more as an actor, improviser, and then writer. But because this is the least amount of performing I think I've done in probably at least 15 years, I'm really starting to feel that itch again of wanting and needing to do more. And I do think I've known this, but then I'm definitely learning it firsthand out here. Like, if you want to be in stuff, you kind of have to create it yourself. So right now, no, I haven't been doing a ton of writing, but as we're approaching the end of the year, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I think that's another reason why I'm going to kind of show myself on stage to do some stand-up comedy, because it's writing, and it's writing stuff that I want to say and want to do and want to cover, as opposed to some writing assignment given to me. So does that answer the question without answering the question?
It does. I've learned not to ask about specific projects if the guest isn't ready to talk about that just yet.
Sure.
I mean, I try to let them volunteer any information they want, but if you don't, I'm like, okay, let's just back off of that.
Right. And a lot of times, if you are involved with something, you can't tell anyone anyway. And I think it's important, and this is something I'm just learning to be more open about. Like, it is important to see both sides of things. So sometimes, when it rains, it pours. You're so slammed with projects and work, and then other times it does feel kind of like a bit of a drought. And so this year was a real experimental year of like, I'm going to audition and just, kind of get my foot in the door places here, because it just takes time. I think a lot of people think, success, or whatever we think success is, just happens overnight. And more often than not, it doesn't. So I'm going to, stretch myself and try something that I've never really done before. I think I've done some stand-up when we do like stand-up sets in our improv sets, where it's like, okay, we'll get like a suggestion for jokes, and then just tell jokes based off of, whatever horrible suggestions we get. So that's not really stand-up. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's telling jokes on the fly. But so yeah, so right now, writing-wise, no, I really have no ideas right now. I have no ideas.
Well, that's okay.
It's okay.
It really is.
And then you will. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Because for somebody who's into improv, that is a skill that requires your brain to work a mile a minute.
Yes.
I mean, you're not going to be able to sit down and think of stuff. So for you to not have ideas right this second is fine, because you have that brain that's like 2 seconds from now, while you're washing your hands or making a sandwich, you could get that idea that sends you to Hollywood again. I mean, it's just
right. Oh, and it's also like I think just having the guts enough to like say, oh, I have an idea, because sometimes I don't have that kind of courage to be like, oh, I've got something. I just wait for someone to ask me, and being the polite Midwesterner that I am, it's nice in some ways, but then not in others. You just have to kind of say, hey, I've got this, or I want to do this with me. So this past year, it's been fun. My husband and I rent a nice little house here in outside of LA, and we have this weird little theater space that the previous owners converted their garage to this little theater space. So we open that up once a month, and we've had a ton of friends come through and do like maybe some character workshops, or maybe they've got like 7 minutes of a set that they need to whittle down to 5 minutes. Or, you know, they've just got weird, like I've got this show idea, but I don't know how to pitch it. Can I just work on my pitch? But we've opened up the space because sometimes you hit a point in the creative process where you have to put your idea up in front of someone else, you know, like, but maybe you don't want to do it in front of a paying audience. It needs, you know, it's not that polished. So we've opened up this space for fellow performers in whatever capacity to come try stuff out. And if they want some feedback, they get it. If they just want to put it up in front of someone and just feel how that is, they get that too. And that's been really fun to see friends I've had for a long time, or people I've just met, you know, throw out this wonderful stuff that you're like, wow, there's so many great ideas in the world. I feel honored that they would want to share this part of their process with us. And more often than not, they walk away, you know, with good feedback, or they're happy with what they did, or they're like, oh, I knew I needed to work on that. You know, I'm so glad that I have that solidified. So that's been really fun to kind of be more of an observer this year. I'll throw that in.
I'm sorry, the pun is amazing.
Thank you. I did try that. I didn't try it. I just threw it out. But yeah, it's been fun for the first time, kind of being more of an observer this year than a performer. And that also, I always walk away from those nights feeling inspired as well. So that's been a cool thing that we've done for almost 2 years now. Even Grant Pachoco, who, do you know Grant Pachoco, who's our lead puppeteer on MST3K, he'll like bring cool like puppet stuff by sometimes and be like, I'm working on this for, you know, the show. Oh. And you're like, what, Grant, you're amazing. So it's been really cool. You know, we have like puppeteers come through, improvisers, stand-up people, actors. It's been fun. So this year, yeah, like for January, I'm gonna, like, I know when our next meeting will be, and I'll have something to put up in front of people, because that's, sometimes I just have to force myself to do assignments like that if I'm not given something, you know, work-wise. So yeah, it's all sides, friends. There's high times and low times, and real creative times, and real like times.
Well, making use of the space in your own home is genius, and that's a 21st century concept right there. Is that we're, you know, it says the guy who's recording a podcast in his front bedroom with his dog snoring in the background. I mean, it's like, this is just what we do, because you were saying before that it's hard to get your stuff out there unless you're actually working on something. You just have to make it yourself. You sometimes just have to make your own projects and find somebody to bite on them, which is a really new thing in the world. I mean, my favorite TV show in the world came back because of a crowdfunding campaign that went to a streaming service. And if I had used those words 20 years ago, nobody would know what I was talking about.
We wouldn't even know what those words were 20 years ago. Yeah. And now here we are. Yeah. It's I think overall we're living in a really cool time. I think in some ways it's a little oversaturated, but I love that everyone can do stuff if they want to do stuff. You know what I mean? And it's cool. Like now I know you because of this, and
Exactly.
it's really, yeah, it's just it's really cool how we have so many tools at our disposal to um, shine light on other people, and then also bring light to what we're thinking and working on and doing stuff.
It's overwhelming. I hesitate to use the word oversaturated because
Okay.
there's 7 billion people on this planet.
That's
A lot to saturate.
That's true. That's
It-
true.
there- I mean, see, we might be just now getting MST3K into the realms of Tasmania and Nicaragua, and I'm sure that's an exaggeration because they've seen it for years. But I'm just saying we can get that out there.
Yeah. You're right. You're very true. That's very true. Yeah. I feel like I don't even know what I'm saying. So yeah,
That's all right.
I agree with you.
Well, I think that's a pretty good place to leave because I know you're a busy lady and you've got stuff going on.
I mean, I do, and I would, and I hope that there's more.
I'd like to have you back.
It'd be great. I hope to come back and be like, oh, Erin, look at this, and I'm doing this, and blah blah blah, and this and this, and that's a very technical way of me putting things.
That's okay, and that's because if you're going to do the stuff that I think you're going to do, I would really like to hear about it. I'd like you to talk about it here again because I said I love MST3K. I've had some of the previous related people on the show before. I love talking to them. So
it's a really, I have to say this, it's a really lovely bunch of people to be with. And I think that's what's been like the coolest thing for me is, yes, this is a show that I've admired for a long time. And I was super intimidated, like, especially like the first day I met Mary Jo, holy cow, I was so nervous. She's freaking Mary Jo.
Yeah.
And Bill and Kevin, and they could not have been nicer or more gracious or more lovely and welcoming. And that's what's been so cool, is just getting to know that not only are they just hilarious, they're just really lovely, warm people. Mark Hamill, the same way. Holy cow, what a like sweet man. So it's been that's what's been like probably the coolest. And it's just knowing that like it's good people behind all this stuff.
It really is. I've met MJ a number of times because we lived in bordering states.
Oh,
and
nice.
She was so kind and so sweet to me. And a huge part of the reason I'm writing as much as I am now is directly related to her words of encouragement, which at this point are almost 15 years ago.
Wow.
And I reach out to her occasionally to say, hey, thanks again for all you've done. And even though it was just a quick chat and an email here and there, it really helped me out at a point in my life where I needed some help. So
that's cool. Yeah.
And I could say similar things about the others, but MJ especially.
Yeah,
sweetly.
she's just really, there's no one like her. Like she's just really extra phenomenal. Oh, yay, that's cool. I mean, of course she was like that with you. Like that's just how she is. She's just really, really great.
I had the same thought the day I met her because I wasn't even sure if I should go up to her at the time.
Yes.
And I took the risk because, well, it's a long story but the fact is,
I'm happy to hear it, but if you don't want to tell it, that's fine.
Well, the show had been off for a couple of years at that point. She had just moved to Texas.
Okay.
And I was reaching out to her because I was trying to get a copy of her book. And blah, blah, blah. One thing leads to another. And she says, hey, I'm doing this live show in Texas in a couple of days. Would you like to come down as my guest? And I'm like, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like, okay. So I go down there and, it's an 8-hour drive from a 6-hour, something like that. And, if you have ever had to go through traffic in both Dallas and Austin,
no thanks.
It's going to add a lot to your day.
Yeah.
To say the least. I get down there. The show starts at midnight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it doesn't wrap up till 2:30 in the morning.
Sure.
And I didn't get a chance to talk to her ahead of time. So I sit through this. I have a great time. I'm literally 10 feet away from one of my idols.
Yes.
Who's invited me to be there.
Yep.
And I'm like, I got to say thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to say thank you, but it's 2:30 in the morning. She's probably exhausted. She might not even, and it's like, I'm that guy. I don't want to bother somebody. I especially don't want to bother them ready to fall over from exhaustion, but it's like, you got to say thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I turn around And I talked to her, and she's so glad I got there. She's happy. She's this, she's that. And I'm leaving on top of the world. I get home, I crash. I get up in the morning. I have an email from her saying, and again, I'm like, man, did I do the right thing by at least saying hi? And she's like,
Sure.
I'm sorry I didn't invite you to breakfast. What on earth? And again, every time we chat, it's just been that level of wonderfulness from her.
Yes. Yeah. I first met her she first saw me when I was Synthia. So it was, and she wasn't quite in her Pearl getup yet. So it was, I was like, hi, I'm Rebecca Hanson. I'm playing your clone, Synthia. And she's like, oh my God, whoa. She's like, this is the wig we'll be wearing, because we had similar wigs. And I was like, yeah. And then it wasn't until the next morning. So we'd had our big, shoot that day. And then the next morning, a bunch of us had breakfast at the hotel we were all staying. And so I, met her as myself, and I came up to her. I was like, hi, Mary Jo. This is what I really look like. I'm Rebecca. I played your clone. She's like, oh my gosh, you do look different outside of Synthia. Yeah, she was just really, 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 really sweet. So then I was like, can I sit next to you during breakfast? She's like, please do. So it was just nice to get to know her, because the first day I met her, I was just so awestruck by everything that was going on, that I almost just couldn't process anything, because it was the coolest experience of my life. And I just felt like a real idiot, because I was very starstruck by everybody, and everyone was really, really nice. I had met Patton for the first time earlier that day, and I was he was just getting into the makeup chair, and I was leaving, and he was like, all right, Mary Jo, we're gonna have a great day today. And I turned around and I said, Mr. Oswald, I feel like I should tell you that my name is Rebecca Hanson, and I'm playing Mary Jo's clone, Synthia. And if you and Mary Jo have an inside joke, I don't want to ruin it for you, because I don't want you to think Mary Jo's rude, because this isn't Mary Jo. My name is Rebecca. Like, I felt really stupid. And he was like, oh my God, you look so much like Pearl, that I thought that you were Mary Jo. And I said, and then all the makeup and hair people were like, yay, we're doing our jobs. And I was like, it's because these guys are so great, but I'm a big fan. I'll see you out there. And just was like a babbling idiot. But yeah, like, Patton was really sweet. Mary Jo was so sweet. And she was just really cool with me being a clone. And I just told her, I said, I'm just literally going to like stare at you all day and literally mirror everything you're doing. She's like, great. So then she was like doing funny things, so I would have to do them too. And yeah, she's just really fun. She's just a fun, lovely person. So yeah, I want to take the lead from her, and always be that way to anyone who is a fan of the show, because I'm right there with them as a fan.
Nice. And that's, again, to come back to the beginning of the conversation, that's just being able to talk to you, and you started out as a fan, you get on the show, everything comes full circle.
It really did. I mean, yeah, that's the whole reason. The whole reason I even, got into this was, I don't know if you want to hear, or if you already know.
Please. No.
In 2013, when I was living in Chicago, 2013 was the 25th anniversary of MST3K, and Joel and Frank and Trace came to Chicago they did, like an MST3K Q&A panel at the Museum of Broadcast Communications in Chicago. And so it was a rainy November afternoon, and my husband, Tim Ryder, who is also part of MST3K, he's the bonehead, and he writes on it. Tim and I, and then two of our other friends from Second City, went to this panel, and it was my first time seeing any of them live. And it was just really cool to hear and see all of them. And we were going to get a DVD signed afterwards. And Tim was understudying at Second City at the time, and our friend Ross was on stage there. And so we were like, whoa, we should ask Frank and Trace and Joel to see if they'd maybe want to come to the show tonight and maybe do the improv set. And Tim and our friend Ross were too shy to ask. So I was like, well, I'll ask, because I wasn't in that show. So I was like, I'll ask. And we got up to the table, and Joel said, oh, hey, these are the Second City guys. And we were like, what? And unbeknownst to either Tim or Ross, Joel was at the show the night before, so he saw part of the show. And long story short, Joel was, we asked them, hey, do you guys want to come to the show tonight? Do you want to do the improv set? And Frank and Trace were headed out, they were headed out of town right after the panel. I know now because I've lived on a bus with Joel before. I know Joel goes to bed very early. He's an early to bed, early to rise type of guy. And he was like, oh, I can't make it to a late show, but maybe would you want to have dinner with us or dinner with me? And we were like, sure. So he found Ross and Tim on Twitter, and we had dinner with him that night, and we asked if we could, bring the other cast members with us. And he was like, of course. And I just sat next to Joel and just talked about like Minnesota. I'm from Iowa. Joel spent a lot of time in Minnesota. We both worked at Valley Fair Amusement Park at different points in our lives. So I just sat next to him, and we just hit it off immediately. And then that's basically how I came to know him, was just because I happened to be at a panel that he was speaking at. And then about a year later, he asked me to help him out with a convention. So I was in the booth with him and helping direct traffic, and just spent the whole day with him, and was like, what is my life? This is so cool. And then didn't even know that a year later I'd be writing and being a part of the show. So it was, I'm a fan, and that's how it came to be. I also am a trained professional actor and comedian. I feel like sometimes people think, oh, Joel's just picking people up left and right who don't have, they're just fans. We are fans, but we do have skills too that show. And
Go ahead.
Sorry, I only bring that up because we were doing a panel at a con once, and everyone was asking, all of us how we, got to be on the show. And it kind of sounded like Joel was just finding people he liked, which he did, but also he was looking in, people who are professional writers and comedians and stand-up performers. So yeah, it's a nice combo of fan, but then also we have these skills.
True, and that just strikes me as an odd observation to make, because I look at the new cast and crew, and I'm not seeing anybody there who doesn't have street cred in their own right, apart from any association with the show. Everybody has a resume.
Yeah.
I mean, they might love the show, but Joel isn't doing anybody any favors in that regard.
He's not. But it's just been interesting to me because it's happened on more than one occasion. Where we're at a con or something and we're doing a panel, and someone will just be like, well, I like the show, Joel, so just hire me. and it's like, oh yeah, but we do have we all have our various set of skills. It was my first time doing scripted riffing, because I've done shows where we're just improvising riffing things. But I mean, I also have been working as a professional actor and comedian for longer than I care to admit. So my story is I was a fan, I am a fan, and it's pretty crazy how that's how a lot of us got to be on the show, is because we are fans, and then also, we also do these other things that help out. And I guess it doesn't hurt. Joel has said this before too. He's really big on he's got facial recognition, and he locks faces in. And I think for whatever reason, he just thought, oh, I would, once I'm done up, I would look enough like Mary Jo or Pearl, that we could, make this clone and have that work. So thanks, face, that I can look enough or that Synthia and Pearl can look enough alike to be clones and have that work too. So yeah.
He obviously knows what he's doing.
He does. And he's it's really crazy to have worked with him so much. It's crazy that I, have his phone number. Even when he calls now, it's still oh, Joel's calling me. That's still excitement hasn't gone away, 3 years now into knowing him and working with him. He's just ridiculous. He's really fun. I get a kick out of him. I just get a kick out of him.
I can't imagine working with that crew and not just having a blast all the time. And I've heard that from a lot of people in your position.
Yeah, it's really and especially touring wise, living on a bus with with these crazy folks. Like, yeah, I mean, living on a bus to me is not an ideal situation, but with the cast and crew that we had for both tours, wow, like it was the best combination of people, and it was great to like work with them, live with them, travel with them. Yeah, it's just, again, everyone is just not only talented, but just really good people, and that's what's a little more important to me is if you're like a good
It
person or
is.
not. And it's very like, it's really nice to be part of a show where I'm like, yeah, everyone is just really solid, and it's really nice to have that.
And that's legit, because that is one of the criteria I use for the people I invite on here, is that I'm trying to find people who you can say, this is actually the person they seem to be in real life. This is actually a good person who you'd want to have for a neighbor, but they're also ridiculously talented. And it's not a case where you have to choose one or the other.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of these people are so funny that they could be real jerks if they wanted to be, and they're not, which is just really refreshing. And yes, again, something that I hope to emulate from them too, because I unfortunately have been around people who are just, I mean, they're funny, but oh boy, are they tough to be around. And to me, that's just, I don't like it. So it's nice to be part of a project that everyone is just lovely.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons I keep going back to the MST3K well, is because they're to a T all the people that you just want to talk to, and they don't get enough screen time outside of doing the show, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. And I think that's what was kind of cool too, was he, other than Patton and Felicia, yeah, and Jonah to an extent, like a lot of us weren't necessarily that well known. And I by far, I was living in Chicago at the time for the first season 11 when we shot, so they flew me in to LA for for season 11, our first season coming back, but and so I was just so low on the totem pole that I was like, what am I doing here? And Jonah especially just made me feel right at home, and like, no, this is yours too. And just like, let's all rock it out together. And I really appreciate Jonah for like being that lovely leader that he is and was, to be like, no, Hanson's here and we're gonna all just, and then being able to like make him and Baron and Hampton laugh, just us goofing around together and being idiots, like that's what's really fun. So yeah, I'm thankful that Jonah kind of helped me feel like, oh, this is just as much mine as anyone else's, and we're all like, holy shit, we're on the SOL, like, our first day on set, we all, like, none of us could think, like, because it was just so surreal to be there. And then as things were happening, we're like, oh, the show is what we want it to be. And we hope that our audience with the Misties agree with us, because yeah, it's I feel like it kind of just picked up right where it left off.
It did
in a lot of ways. And that's what was really cool too.
Yeah.
So yeah, your pup just like was rolling around a little bit in the background now. Sorry.
This is the watching MST3K pose for her right here.
Nice. Yeah. Trond
he left a while back. Yeah, I saw him head out the door.
Oh, did he? Yeah. He's listened to a lot of, he was really integral in keeping our involvement a secret for a long time. Trond had to keep us, because my involvement and Tim's involvement could not be revealed until after, I think even after the premieres, they didn't like let people know that Gypsy was going to be voiced by a female and stuff. So I really have to credit Trond for not like tweeting and getting on the internet and blowing our secret and getting me fired. So I really appreciate him for doing that. Good dog. Yeah.
Well, Rebecca, please, I would love to have you back. I'd actually probably reach out to you soon and try to set something up if you end up having something come up that you want to talk about.
Sure, I will, definitely.
So where can somebody find you if they want to keep tabs on you online?
Sure. Yes, you can find me on Twitter, where I think on Twitter I am FunkyBeck, PHUNKYBECK, and on Instagram I'm FunkyBeck, but it's FUNKYBECK, because I joined Instagram way before I joined Twitter. And yeah, I am pretty good when I do have live shows, mostly here in town in LA. I let people know. But yeah, I definitely will find me on Twitter and Insta, and I'll let people know when I get the guts to do some solo stuff.
Awesome.
And other group stuff. Like group stuff, I'm always like, come see this. Solo stuff is a different situation, but 2020, I'm saying it to you, Aaron, so there's accountability. That 2020 will be the year that I get some guts and do some one person stuff.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay, do it.
All right.
I'll
talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. Have a great holiday season.
You as well. Keep circulating the tapes.
All right. Yes. Bye.
I would like to thank Rebecca Hanson for being my guest today, and I would like to thank you for listening. To get all of Rebecca's information as well as her social media links, go to our show notes at www.aaronbossig.com. For the Geek Resources part of the show today, I'm going to swing back to the conversation we had earlier and recommend Annotated MST. That website is at annotatedmst.com. It's a fantastic resource for MST3K fans where you can not only look up jokes that were made on the show or weird obscure references, but it's also just a really great way to find new reading material or new shows to discover. You can broaden your horizons just by going through the notes. Highly, highly recommended. And that's going to be in our show notes as well. For the community building part of the show today, I'm going to ask a favor for anybody who has a Discord account. I have seen a huge boost in ratings and reviews when people post links to my show on Discord. And Discord has a rule against using it for self-promotion, so if the link gets posted by me, that's no good and they'll remove it. But if somebody else posts a link to my show on a relevant thread or feed, that's fantastic and I really see the difference. So I would ask that of anybody who happens to be listening to this who uses Discord. Thanks so much and we'll see you next time.